Hi, I'm Greta Oliver. Welcome to the EDUCATEU podcast, your roadmap to learning tips, techniques, and strategies to enable your student to successfully navigate the road to and through higher education. Today's guest on the Crafting the Co-op Experience segment of EDUCATEU is Jennifer Schoen. Jennifer is the director of the Opportunity Scholarship and Outreach Programs at Northeastern University. She is passionate about helping first-generation college students get into and through college. When I first connected with Jennifer, I saw something that she posted on social media. I really didn't know who she was, but I knew she had a heart for students. And I'm like, that's somebody that's like me, and I got to get some information from her. I'm so glad I connected with Jennifer. She has done a number of things to help college students. She's been at many different institutions. She's been in many different roles. But today she's going to lend us some of her expertise regarding the co-op experience. And this experience is actually a requirement at Northeastern. And so that's a really good thing. But for students who don't have that as a requirement at the university that they attend, we're going to kind of talk about how you can craft or figure out how to develop a co-op experience on your own. And so that's where Jennifer comes in. So sit back, relax, take notes to find out how to manage and craft a co-op experience for yourself and how you can use it in establishing your future beyond graduation. Jennifer, welcome to EDUCATEU.
Oh, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here and to talk about this because, you know, as we were talking about before this, getting to that next transition, which is out of college and into a job, is so much easier if you already have some experience, right? While you're in college. So that's why I think, you know, co-ops, which are co-ops. So if you've never heard of a co-op before, it's typically a longer experience than an internship. So at Northeastern, our co-ops are typically 6 months long.
Wow.
Yeah. And the students are working full time, you know, while they're doing that co-op. So they get to take what they learn in the classroom and then they go to perform this job. And then they come back and what they've learned at the job then informs maybe what they need to learn more about in the classroom. Or they may say, oh, that was, you know, I would not want to work for a company that big. I want to do something smaller, or I don't want to do that job. I'm going to shift. I'm being redirected maybe to something else in my field. So it's such a good experience for the students, especially the first gen students, to get that professional experience.
That sounds so good. So how long has Northeastern been doing these co-op programs? How long has that been like a requirement in their course of studies?
Like 100 years.
Okay.
So yeah. So as you could probably tell, you do it something that long, you get pretty good at it. So, you know, in addition to the regular academic advisors, students also have a co-op advisor and they have to do a co-op class. And so the co-op class walks them through things like interviewing skills and, you know, writing your resume and then applying for positions. And just all of the before steps, right? Before you actually get the position. And so they have an opportunity to talk about those things. You know, for me, it's, you know, a lot of the students for their first co-op, they come in and they're like, I want to do like this, and this, because they're so excited, right? To be in their field. So a lot of it is saying, all right, well, you may not have the experience, you know, even the knowledge to get into that just yet, because you're only a sophomore. So what are the skills you want to get out of this first position? And then can you look for positions that will give you those skills? And then you build on that, whether it's you want to hone something that you're really good at, you want to learn more about something that maybe you don't know enough about or you want to get better at. I think, you know, that's the kind of advice that I give students is like, well, think about where you want to go, right? Where your end result is. And then let's work backwards. Like, what's the next step from where you are now to get to where you want to go? Because they all are like, you know, I want to do all of these things. It's like, okay, no job is going to give you all of those things right now. So what's most important? And they know, they just have to take some time to reflect on it.
Okay. You know what? It's very interesting that you would mention skills, because that's what employers are really looking for. Mm-hmm. And you need to be able to, first of all, develop skills if you don't have them, or either improve on them, or, become masterful, I guess, at whatever skills you feel like you have, or if you don't have any, get some. And so, it's very important, because a lot of times on resumes, or even, when you present yourself to a potential employer, they want to know what skill set you have, what you bring that's maybe something that's different than everybody else. And so that's one great thing that, you guys are doing right, honestly, is helping students to hone and develop skills so that they will have something that they're good at, will have something that they have to offer to an employer. And so that's just great. And, as you said, it's about maybe 6 months experience. And that is a good amount of time on a job. It's literally on a job.
Yeah.
And so that is work experience, which a lot of other students coming from other universities won't have. All they'll have maybe is a, semester-long internship or something like that. So it does put your students at Northeastern ahead of their peers. And so that's really cool. So when do students usually get involved in the co-op experience?
So they can take the co-op class as early as their sort of their first semester of their sophomore year.
Okay.
So they may go out in January. They go in cycles. They either go the January to July cycle or the July to December cycle.
Okay.
So they may go their second semester of their sophomore year, or they may go the summer starting the July between their sophomore and junior year. So they do have, some classwork under their belt. It's not just like, hey, welcome to campus, take these classes.
Now go to work.
Right. Good luck to you.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. How does that affect their time in college? Does it affect like the number of years that they have to spend in college, or?
So sometimes, students, students can do 1, 2, or 3 co-ops. They can do other experiential learning. They could do service learning opportunity to get that experience. They can also do research.
Okay.
That would count, but they have to do, some sort of like hands-on experiential learning. Most of the students do co-ops. Some students do 1, and so they can graduate in 4 years. Others do 2. They can also graduate in 4 years, but some students do 3 co-ops. And so they would take a little longer. Typically they'll take, closer to 5 years. They have the same number of classes and semesters, but when you consider they're taking like a year to a year and a half of co-op experiences, it does tend to push their graduation out a little bit. Wow.
That is really, really interesting. I'm just overwhelmed actually with this co-op stuff. And it's kind of also funny that we're talking about co-ops, because, we have a lot of similar experiences, but I, at one time, was a high school teacher, and I taught a co-op business course. And so my students, they came to school and then they went to work. And so it was like, trying to develop business skills through their jobs. And I love that job. I just have to tell you, sometimes just going out and checking with them and working with their employers and trying to develop skills within them. So I get it, but it's just on such a more, a broader scale and for much more reward. Because they basically just had to get through the school year with me. But this is adding to what they have on their resume, what they're able to present to a potential employer. And if they even take 3, just think of how much experience that really is. That is a lot of experience that they're actually bringing to the table right after graduation. So that is just so cool in so many different ways. So what could you say about students who don't have any kind of co-op going on their campus? What can they do to kind of figure out how to do something like this for themselves?
Yeah, well, internships are probably what more colleges are familiar with. So I always say the first place to start is the career office. Like even as a first year student, if you go in and you start to build a relationship with the career, whatever you call it, we call it career design, career development, career services.
All of it's the same thing.
Right. They're all the same thing. Anything that has the word career in it, like go there.
Right.
But they're like really the experts on campus, and they have relationships with different companies. They know about like the current trends and like resumes and what may be different, because certainly like when I had to do a resume, that was a long time ago. And so I have them go to the experts to learn about this. And so I would say like start there and go talk to someone and say, even as a first year, like this is the career I'm thinking of. Or this is the major I'm in. What can I do with that career? Right. There's two different ways to approach it. And to say like, help. That's it. Simple, right?
Yes.
Say, like,
go in with your sign that says help me.
Yes. Ask for help. I try to, I think everybody, not just students, but if everybody like learned how to ask for help and to receive help graciously, like, things would be so much better. The students who do that are the ones who have a lot of success.
Absolutely. I've been beating that drum. You don't even know the amount of times that I have been beating the drum of ask for help when you need it.
Yeah.
And I like that you put graciously in there.
Yeah.
Yes. Just
graciously
approach somebody the way you would want to be approached.
Right.
And just ask for the help that you need. You'll find that most people want to help you.
Yes, especially students.
Yes, especially hungry students that you can see are really, really trying to do something to make a change in their life. They're really trying to get this information. They're really trying to develop skills. You can appreciate somebody like that asking for help, because everybody needs help. But when you see somebody that really wants it, it just kind of kicks in and to another gear, for you to be able to provide that help. And people want to help. Especially people that work on college campuses. That's what their job is. So that's part of it.
We're waiting for students, to come in and ask questions. And career services, career design is the same way. They're waiting for students to come in and say, I need help with this. And whether that's, again, just getting an internship, saying like, what's a good first experience if I want to do this, to all the way to, hey, I got a job offer. How do I negotiate a salary?
Absolutely. That's a good question. Because I don't even know that I know how to do that now, but okay. we won't talk about that because now that I'm retired, it doesn't matter. But maybe I should ask that question to my career services.
Right. I know. It's so funny. I wish I knew all that I knew now when I was in college.
Absolutely.
Man, I didn't talk to as many people as I could have.
Right. Don't we have a lot of things that we can look back? That's what makes this work that we do so important, because we see all the stuff that we didn't do.
Yes.
All the opportunities that we missed. And it's like, why does everybody have to miss these opportunities? I missed it. Okay. But this next person coming along, they don't have to miss it.
Right.
Why do they have to fall into the same hole that perhaps I fell into? That's what makes a difference for me. Everybody doesn't have to, we don't have to reinvent the wheel in the wrong way either.
Right.
Do the things that matter, that's going to move you forward, ask for the help that you need. And I think that's the best kind of advice that we can even give students, to just get out there, be vulnerable, ask for help, and then pay it forward. Help other people when you finally get where you want to get, or even while you're on the way. How about helping somebody else? Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah. Reach and lift up.
Absolutely. So this is so cool. I love this. And so we're talking about co-op experiences. And if students don't have a co-op requirement on their campus, then they can just start with career services or the career folks on their campus, go in and make, just let them know what you're trying to do. Okay, you're trying to gain some skill and some experience in this particular field, and what could they recommend? And then perhaps maybe it will start off with an internship, but maybe it could be, lengthened to a longer experience, which could be somewhat of a co-op. And so, it's just a matter of just making your requests known, asking for some help. And sometimes, when students are dealing with different employers or internship, whatever people that are providing internships, I don't know what we're going to call it, but sometimes they've always done something a certain way because they've just always done it a certain way. Yes. But maybe a student can come in and give give some more ideas. Well, how about this or how about that? Your points are valid, especially if you're trying to help them as well as help yourself. To reach another level. And maybe they'll be, more interested in what you have to say if you can show the benefit to them that you can bring by being able to participate with them maybe on a longer internship.
Yeah. And I think some of that can come, as they talk to, it could be a professor that they really like, it could be a career design person, but as they talk about, not just like what I want to do, but what do I value and who I am.
Yes.
And go into that really important sort of self-awareness, then the people can also help guide them. Well, if these are the things that are important to you, maybe this career you're talking about, like that doesn't seem a good fit, but if you want to try it, like now is a good time to do an internship there. Or they may ask you a series of questions or, ask the student a series of questions to really get them to reflect on what it is that they want to do. I mean, I remember when I was in admissions one time, I was talking to a student. I said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to work in an office. And so I was like, well, that's an easy one. Like I have an office and there's so many offices.
Right.
And so, that's a start, but like, well, what do you want to do when you're in that office? Right. And what comes next? What do you see yourself doing? And by getting those questions asked of you, you really start to figure out, yes, that's what I want to do. Oh, I love writing.
Right.
Or I love TikTok. Like I want to help somebody who doesn't understand that, maybe how they can advance their business there, because I know that's inside and out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. How about that? Put both hands up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's why I think career design is just such a great stop, or such a great start, I should say, to go in and talk to them and because they can do it like personality inventories.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All kinds of things to get students thinking about who am I,
what
do I value, and what can I do with what my strengths are that I can just soar from there.
I've always told students that, even an interest inventory is a good place to start for any student, really before they start the college search. It's not too early to do that, to take an interest inventory, kind of see where your interests lie. And of course, we know things change and we want things to change too sometimes. Yeah. But, it gives you an idea of things that you're interested in. So you can go toward like a major, perhaps toward a certain profession, knowing, yes, it might change, but at least you have a starting point. You can pick an initial major. And have some kind of idea of what this major means, how that's going to translate to an actual job. And so that is a good starting point for anybody, just to kind of see where your interests lie, what you're passionate about. Everybody should take advantage of that, even before they actually start the college search, so that they can make sure that they're not on a campus where they don't even offer anything that you're interested in.
Right.
What a waste of time, honestly. You can do your gen ed, but who wants to go through that? Get somewhere where they have something you're interested in and really passionate about. And, if it changes, so what? It changes, but at least you are in the right place at the right time, right then.
Right.
So,
yeah. You're at a place that you can make that pivot and stay in the same place.
Yes. And what, the other thing I like about the co-op experience, like you said earlier, is it can show students what they want to do and also show students what they might not want to do.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful time to find that out. Honestly, before you get out of college, you're in a job, and this is your livelihood now, and you might not even have an opportunity to change right away, or even the desire to really go through all of that job search again especially after just getting a job. And so sometimes if you don't know you don't like it and it's not a good fit for you, it's years of torture. I want to say torture. And I've been on jobs, believe it or not, I've done a lot of things, and I have been on jobs where it wasn't necessarily the job, but it was the people, but still.
Yeah. Did
not want to be there crying every day. You don't need to cry every day.
No.
It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy making behavior is what I call that.
Yes.
And yes, I cried every day for a year almost. Or even if I wasn't crying, I was just sad, depressed, didn't want to go. Nobody needs that. You got to go to work. So you might as well like what you do. You might as well be able to enjoy it, help some people, and see the benefit of what you're doing. And so all of this is so important, especially for college students who are still finding their way. They don't know, exactly where they might end up, but this experience can be so helpful to them in so many different ways.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, I can think of at least two students, one who was sure they wanted to do research, and the other one who was sure he wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
And they both started off, they're like, well, let's do a research co-op right off the gate, off the bat. And the one who wanted to be a doctor was like, oh my gosh, I love research. And so he's getting his PhD now, like doing research,
Okay.
I think it's in bioengineering. And the other one who was like, I love research, was like, no
way.
Not like research. And now she's in med school because she decided the doctor was the right way for her. So they totally flipped, but they did not have known that just by taking classes.
Right. I love it. That is perfect. Yeah. So what kind of other tips, maybe beyond the co-op experience or trying to craft your own co-op experience, what are 3 tips that you could just give to incoming students, maybe first generation students or just students in general, just about the college going process? What are 3 things that you want to make sure that students know going into college?
Yeah. So first year students, is that who you're?
Yeah, we'll say first year. Yep.
All right. So if they're first year students and they're literally just starting, I would say like go to orientation. It's my very first thing. Go and take advantage of orientation. Learn about the college, meet a whole bunch of your classmates.
Yes.
And if the family can go too, if they can afford the time off and they can afford to get to the college, then I think the family should go too, because then they get to see where their student is.
Right.
So when the student is saying like, oh, I did this, I did that, then the family has that picture of what that's like. And they learn a lot about the university too. But I think for students, at least, my first bit is like, take advantage and go to orientation.
Okay.
Because I mean, I ran orientation programs, so it's near and dear to my heart. But I also think it's just such a good start.
Yes.
And then I think the other thing is, I have 2 more things. Start to build relationships with your advisors. And that could be your academic advisor, your financial aid advisor, your scholarship advisor,
every single advisor
works. Just go introduce yourself.
Right.
Is what I would say. And introduce yourself to your professors. So it's like all about people there, right?
Yes.
All about people. And then my last word of advice would be that college academics are very important, but it's about so much more. So find a club or organization where you're going to find your people, whatever that means to you. You're going to find your people, and you're going to, again, build relationships, friendships.
Yes.
Because it's not just about studying. I mean, I had one student who talked about how he was just like, I need to concentrate on my academics and I'm just going to study. And he was studying, and the more he studied, the worse he did. And he's like, this is terrible. I hate it.
Right.
And then he was like, what I really miss is playing the trumpet. So I'm going to go and I'm going to be, I think it was the jazz band, the jazz ensemble. He was like, I'm going to go give that a try. And as he got more active in that and doing his music, his grades went up.
Yeah.
Right. So because he found something else to do, he had something fun in his life, and it wasn't just, I just have to study.
Right.
So everything came together. And so I really think students in their first year, just one thing.
Right.
And jump into it. Maybe try a whole bunch first before you find the one. But if you can find something that you're really interested in, whether that's a cultural center or a club or whatever that is, a service, lots of community service possibilities at many schools. So,
absolutely.
So those would be my three things: people,
I love it,
activity, and orientation.
I love it. Now, so far, I asked that question to a lot of people. So far, you are the only person who said orientation. And I get it, but it is so important. It is such an important step. The more, people from the family that can get on that campus and kind of see what's going on, the better, like you said, so we can kind of understand what's going on here. Because a lot of times, if it's especially a first generation college student, the parents have no idea, honestly, what's really going on. And the students don't either. So that's definitely why you need to be there to kind of see what this is all about and understand what this looks like, because otherwise you're just kind of making up stuff in your head about what you think. Yeah. When you really don't have anything to go on. So I love it. Orientation, find your people, find all of your people. That includes your professors, that includes your advisors, that includes other peers. Get involved in something that you love, ultimately. Yeah. So I love it. Yes, great advice. Of course, I knew it would be from someone with your background and experience and someone who loves students. Yeah. And we're both, passionate about students. We want to see them be successful. So thank you so much for coming and telling us all about co-op experiences and all that goes into that, as well as how it can be beneficial to students.
My pleasure, Dr. O.
All righty. Okay, so you have a great, wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon. All right, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on EDUCATEU. If you wish, you can send me your questions or comments about the college going process or the podcast contents by sending an email to Dr. Greta at gretaoliverconsulting.com. Also, beginning each week after the podcast airs, check for a companion blog on my website's blog page at gretaoliverconsulting.com. My book, College Roadmap, Essential Tips for First-Time College Students and Their Families, is available for sale on Amazon.com. Join us next week for another tip or strategy to make the road to higher education easier for your student.